ASTHMA causes and natural cure. To achieve positive real natural cure of any disease, and at this case asthma, it is first necessary to get the most legitimate informative knowledge of what each one are, and it is really asthma, and the real causes which have made possible its inadvertent incubation, starting by to know what are really the flu and cough, which annoyed symptomatic condition, by to be relief of usual medical artificial way is generally the ignored underlying cause, as first of revealing explicit way will be checked, including of course the causes of these, and any other disease, also to know the known function of the immune system, the which every living being that have, but by not to know the best ideal way to reactivate it, for real and definitively to cure, makes possible the worst general morbid evolution, to acquire a deep-rooted chronic state, which in many cases are considered incurable by medical science with its erroneous production, but however of real way naturally curable, as at this case it will be irrefutably proven.
To cure the flu it is mistaken. The fact to try to cure or alleviate the common flus by means of negative resource and equal medical residual products, it is mistaken and relatively counterproductive, because the annoying effects considered sickly, there are in fact one recurring very common and habitual form that a self-organism possibly makes, always to try to undo of certain excessive sickly contamination. When it is subconscious and not the beings conscious who consider necessary to carry out, for consequently to try to continue conserving the best healthful balance and himself stability, because the sickly symptom experienced in weakness, pain body and head, possible continuous thermal imbalance, of feverish sensation in alternate disconcerting partial or total coldness, like mucus constant reference, it must respectively, because the energy that usually is used to having the fellow for its habitual attitude, is occupied in the concentrated internal regeneration, which by the difficult uprooting and sickly expulsion demands a provoking effort of relative energetic heating, as pain and bothers instability. Whereas comprehensively to be that boison and constantly to impede and avoid that necessary expulsion of so excessive contamination, this one remains a straggler in the organic interior, by then to continue constituting in worse base of increase of the original world sufferings, as much of the respiratory system, like proportional contribution to the integral contamination, and the more defective immunological defense that it makes possible sinusitis, diabetes, tuberculosis, asthma, or other disease like current epidemic influenza. To alleviate the cough medically, it can cause whooping cough and asthma, etc. And to check it, also you explicitly should define and to let note that the cough is not another thing than product of bronchial, lung, or throat congestions, also caused by the feutus adherence of non-negative residual quality of the specific treatment that each organ makes in the associated reproduction and filtrate purification task of the integral sanguine product that subject is to those respective organic processes, being whereas such specific organs continually attempt to and another time with their self-spasmodic shaken, hopelessly to come undone of such sticky or negative mucosities, because in those occasions, until relatively they block the porous surface, and or some of the so much numerous entrance as of exit conduits, being constituted for that reason in undesirable adherences, whose ingrained radicalisms anything convenient is to tolerate, since comprehensively is that with their worst feeble evolution, bigger positive energies absorbency, and feeble infections power acquires, and in a relative gradual way, they diminish whose organs making more and more faulty its functional effectiveness, and whose basic cause that originates is mainly for the lack of liquid positive energy fluency. Well, being able to therewith then to understand that in these uncommon cases, anything definitive or proper, it is neither trying of seemingly to cure, or rather to repress numerically with some of diverse well and artificial medications, in that the numerous infectious vaccines applied from ancestral general childhood, a lot also hereditary having had to see in the today faultier and feebler quality of the current generations as origin of the new epidemics. Because all this here, also rather it made than it makes, it is notably to diminish the individual positive energy, its organism and organs, and their desperate ones violent energetic reactions, for then this way less probably to be capable to come down of such stick and parasite ballads, that the individual then experience of this form, which unbearable cough, whose when trying of this way to alleviate, such adherences see each other and usually reinforced, and they acquire big and rooted adherence. By for that reason to allow this way them its force radicalism and imperturbable words in advertent negative and feeble evolution, for in consequent to produce the noun is for chronic whooping cough and or asthma. For this way with the time and bigger medical negative therapy to end up becoming that it noun is for tuberculosis or other also serious illnesses specifically classified and denominated by a mistaken science, based on the word bacteriological or virus evolution for one cell incubated and exposed. Because for such favored cause, when being made faultier the functional depurative task of such important organ, like general metabolism, is contributed also to favor the integral contamination increment, without neither you can avoid the word negative basic radical evolution in the same feeble original concentration, that in natural consequence in associate relative cause with the so usual culture of negative residual feeding in carnivore, adopted in general ignored habitual excess, well they can become cancerigenic, whose true self-regenerative positive cure is become for the same organic immunologic system definitively impossible, because ignorantly they are continued using such every time word negative artificial medical product, with those which in a deceiving fraud way, all illness bigger negative evolution imperceptibly acquires, but whose however, like in this specific case of the cough, from its same simpler and incipient principle, it could and they can be prevented with the simply one fact of ingesting bigger purified water quantity. For a suitability in fact aids to favor the indispensable flowing, purifying operation of such organs, like entirely, in that the detachment of so sticky mucosities is achieved, for in consequence, in an easy natural way to be of expelling for the urine and or excrement, and whose objective can better even surely to be in an urgent way reinforced, drinking certain warm liquid infusions elaborated with water and energy grasses, plants, leaves of this, or of the slightest flowering fruit juices. There is it that really just that will add to the respective organs and odor in a well-directed and satisfactory way, in their so important tasks and novel transformer function and purifying filtration of the sanguine element, whose production for all those known reasons and other warnings should be tried from now on to procure to get of the best positive quality with the one dominant vegetable feeding in its most possible natural original state, smaller carnivorous proportion, residual, and extract ferments, as null ingestion of this harmful negative general medical production, much less definitively worse vaccinates, whose they have been causes of this in childhood, and even ever before hidden by medical world authorities, but actually of already finally developing of its murderous evident effect.
the natural cure of asthma. And already having known the never-imagined reason because the asthma has been product of usual medicinal healing suffocating the annoying and sometimes unbearable stormy flu symptoms, whose really are, as it was said, kindly intentioned positive reactions, a purifying defense and expression of decomposed secundum, whose all being ignores to get in excess, and are unduly hampered with negative artificial medical products, as also at cough. To this cause asthma and its legitimate natural healing positive therapy consist at: to start by before to sleep to apply around at the lumbar and abdominal regions. A simple mud poultice made with clean earth and water, then cover or tucked with a strip cloth, etc., which so during the long night course relatively debug, regenerate, and to heal that essential sickly quality. For so remove when awaken and rise, which process should be applied at least 3 times per week or by personal discretion, depending on the having personal urgency for to heal, but decide that if is possible, should also enroll at a gym sporting club, or go to a place to start taking steam baths, with an effective heat intensity to be tolerated, and just breathe deeply, but also is absolutely necessary to reduce or eliminate, temporarily or almost for lifetime, the consumption of any cadaveric carnivore class, with minimum very conscious consumption hardly necessary for balance, and adopt a feeding culture as raw vegetarian usually possible, drinking only water, vegetable juices, no coffee nor sodas, ice and cold drinks and less dark. Begin making systematic walks, with systematic breath, then jog and run lengths of time as the body asks and tolerate. Being all this for to make that the steam increasing at every time more intense warmth tolerated, energetically it will clean the respiratory system and associated organs, taken off the adherent mucus, or radical solid dry ballasts on the porous surface and conducts, blocking defective inlet and outlet of metabolic elements relative to reproduced blood fluid, oxygenation, and organic general distribution, to even affect the brain's cleaning and also fry, doing possible the relative detachment of fleshiness, understanding that logically this process, especially for so sick people, means like scary risk of intolerance to painful sensation to the steam's essential warmth, or even wrong imagine, to suffer possible suffocation or asphyxia, should know that fear and cowardice is precisely because of its own negativity causes such as unhealthy for so suggestible and discouraged disposal and expulsion, which formula, although however for people like this is a stormy sacrifice, you better start to undergo the process under a low heat intensity barely tolerable at will, and time periods intermediately combined with warm water baths, in daily sessions of also personal, considered frequency, for so after completion, be fully aware that by this logically to imply a relative wear and loss of liquid fluid and energy rather negative that is wasted and expulsed, vigorous process of intramuscular deep organic cleansing, it is necessary to simply soon as possible to recover that wasted liquid and other dirty energy, with new, cleaner and of better positive class, and simple water or vegetable juice or smoothies of this, so with allness, to continue producing better blood for the same the immune system reactivation, and its internal complementary organic regeneration, and logically begin to experience a new sense of satisfactory health and safety of having done the most appropriate therapeutic benefit attitude undoubtedly positive to health, completely convinced of his healing relative effectiveness, and fully aware of repeated day after day, ever-increasing heat intensity and stay periods, if possible is already doing some exercise, to thereby confirm the surprisingly great results, even better welfare sensation, free breathing and better physical condition, new attitude and an own cheerful personality, because with all that one gets rid of a lot of negative energy and pollution, whose the vast majority ignores excessively to own, because they never try to experience these deep intramuscular organic cleaning processes, which although first it is a painful sacrifice, after then for any it become addictive pleasure and even daily habit during which you can to lay up, relax and meditate better than in any other way, to achieve true spiritual peace, with better mental and well-defined motivation to most important objective living and conservative permanent health.